have a personal question.
Oh.
And I don't think I've ever asked you
I'm
this.
scared. I'm scared.
So, because we don't talk about, do you want children? Hi, everybody. Welcome back to our episode. Sorry for our hiatus, but we get busy, but we are trying to do these more often. Today's episode is about the heart behind the brand. So today we're going to interview Giselle. As everybody knows, Giselle's my daughter, but we're not going to interview her as a staffer today. We're actually going to interview and talk about what it's like to be raised in a family business, what it's like to be part of this, the good, the bad, and the ugly, because there is some ugly. I will say that. But, you know, like any mother-daughter dynamic, there's a lot to it. It gets complicated. It gets funny. It gets emotional. And it's also very rewarding at the same time. So, I am going to ask Giselle a couple questions and vice versa. So introduce yourself, G.
Well, like everybody knows me, and if you haven't, my name is Giselle, or G for short, like my mom likes to call me. Slowly's been getting some momentum in that. Mm-hmm. But, I was basically raised in this business. It started... I don't want to go too much in the history because we talked about it in episode 1. But yes, it was kind of made and inspired by me. But as the business developed and went further, a lot of things just grew with it and alongside me. You know, it's where I really learned how to... My work ethics is really where it came from. This is a big part of like who I am. And the way I am is because of this business and the way my mom raised me. I don't think you can't separate my mom raising me and the business. That's not possible. I was very much raised right by side in the business, and also as the business grew, so did I. So I was like right there in tandem, side by side. Yeah. So my growth and the business growth is almost hand in hand.
Yeah, it started 10 years ago, and she was just 12 in junior high. I remember.
And now I'm 22.
So, yeah, she's 22. So. One of the first questions that I did want to ask Giselle, I do have my notes, my nifty little notes here is, what is your let's talk about the earliest memory you have of the business.
I think the earliest memory is going to our biochemist and picking up the product in these cardboard boxes after my mom's long days at work. Because before Olivia is where it's at today, my mom was working, had another full-time job. Olivia's was 100% her side job and something that side gig and, you know, slowly developing and, you know, growing. We would have to go pick up the product, whatever we already order, wholesale, and be like, okay, like at 9 o'clock after my soccer practice or before my soccer practice, we had to go pick up the original 12 products. Because that's originally what we started off with, which was a couple, maybe like 6 soaps and 2 butters. I think our OGs are the Rescue Me, Millie, Liz, Faith, Tea Tree. Some of the soaps. Remember the heart one? What was that heart soap?
That was facial bar.
I missed that one. That one I do.
Yeah.
Miss. But yeah, I think that was my earliest memory of the business because I was gonna say the farmers markets, but no, I think it would have to be us picking up product at like 9 p.m. and just doing that.
Yeah. All right. And then what did you understand the business? What was the business to you? Like, what did you understand it as?
I don't know. I just knew it was something that you were passionate about, but I don't think at the moment, like speaking from the first memory of like us picking up the product, I didn't think it'd be anything, honestly.
You didn't have much faith in it, or what? Yeah. What the heck?
I was 12. I was just like, oh, it's just something my mom's doing, right? But
it was just fun.
Yeah, I honestly, like 12-year-old me, really kind of did think it was fun, and you know, and
then the question is, when did you realize it wasn't just fun? Like it was a business. Like when
you
did
went
that
full time? When you went like, I'm going all in. Like there's no backing out. I was like, oh shit. What's happening? And I got really excited. I was like, skincare. And then that's when I think really further deepened my want for business and becoming a business leader is once I saw you go full dive entrepreneurship into this. Because like I also grew up with my mom having different businesses. If you don't, I remember Beverly Hills on the corner, flower shop. And
that was grandma's, not mine, but you worked it.
I did, exactly. I remember the giant refrigerator where grandma's like, go get me the rosas or the roses. And, you know, you would be right there making the bouquets with her. And my mom had like this big old sign where I'd be like in the corner where it's I think it's like buy one something roses or like a bouquet. And I'm just like, I feel like you have a video too.
I do somewhere in one of
and
the
it's
phones.
Like old footage, like almost like digital cam, like old footage. Yeah. So it'd be all grainy now compared to what we have today. But yeah, I've always grew up with a business, my mom. So when I saw her fully dive into Olivia's, I think it was what really caught me. Like, okay, I think I want to be an entrepreneur myself, but not until she went full in.
All right. And then what was one of your proudest moments of Olivia's as so far? Because I think there'll be many more, but.
Are we talking like back then or just in general
just
up to this moment?
Just in general from the business, because it's been 10 years.
Wow, there's so many. There's so many milestones. I remember when we first opened our brick and mortar, which in Monterey Park. That was fun. Our grand openings from Monterey Park to Downey. So I think those are like big milestones I appreciate.
Okay.
You know.
And your proudest moment?
Maddie Mango.
Maddie Mango. Yeah,
Maddie Mango. I
proud.
remember once we, you know, grew out and we grew more and started developing more products, just staring at the mango butter, I was like, oh my, and if you just simply saying it was a mistake, you had to return it. I'm like, but why though? I love mango so much.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. Well, I didn't order it by mistake. I heard they had a sale on the raw butter, and I said, we'll figure it out. We'll make something. And Giselle ended up making the Maddie Mango. She ended up formulating that. So
And scenting it. It was so fun.
Yeah, it was.
And like, and all that part, you know, just growing up in the business, I wasn't just like, I was sales. I've had light bulbs burst on me from farmers market. You know, I've had lye in my eye on accident, you know, because I was a kid in the lab, you know, didn't put gloves on, just running around. So, yeah, stuff like that, just, you know, being involved in all aspects of the business, not only administration or as I've gotten older, right? I've been in the lab, I've been in the sales, I've done the commission, I've been up till 1 a.m. breaking down, you know, with you, coming back from Monrovia.
Trade shows. Farmers market. All right. Yeah. Do you have any questions for me as my daughter?
What did it mean to start a business, you know, with, you know, your daughter, like watching you? Like, what was your thoughts going through that?
Well, it's funny because I don't think I set off to start a business with my daughter. I started off a business for my daughter that turned in with my daughter or with my family, right? It really became a family business because they got to a point where I needed free labor. And I needed free labor for my husband, for my kids, even Noah. So it was, and that turned into, oh, okay, this can be something. I knew it can be something, but I think when you're in the midst of it, it just doesn't click, and then all of a sudden it evolves, and it evolves to what, in my opinion, what it needs to evolve to. And so that's the feeling of working with my family, and especially so intimately with Giselle. At times it's been frustrating. At times it's been a lesson. And I grew up in a family business as well. So trying not to make the same mistakes, trying not to hinder the relationship, because the dynamic can get complicated. And the one thing about myself is I can compartmentalize. I can forget that she's my kid and be very demanding. And sometimes because she's my kid, I I forget that she's my employee and she deserves the same respect and the same boundaries as I have with my other employees. But when she's your kid,
The line gets blurred.
Yeah, it blurs. And so I do remember when I was working with my mother that there was no boundaries. I was always her kid. I was never her employee. And I remember how that made me feel. So I try to be cognizant of that emotion, and I try to treat her with the respect she deserves at all time. But like everybody, I fail miserably.
And we're like, again, it's a mother and daughter dynamic. So all my moms and all my daughters that, you know, either work side to side or just have that really close relationship knows exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a secret, and it's just life, you know.
It's
and
trauma bonding.
Yeah.
No, it is.
And it's just like, you know, like, oops, I lost my train of thought for a second.
I'm sorry.
But like what I was just saying is just like, it's a blessing in disguise as well. Like, you know, as sometimes we have our little battles, our little tiffs, our little arguments, but at the end of the day, we still have much love and much respect for each other, and it just all comes from love at the end of the day. It's not that deep for us, I think. I would like to hope.
I would agree. I think that we can be self-deprecating at times, which helps a lot. So we don't take it too seriously. You know, in my opinion, there's no business that is worth the relationship. So I try to remember that at all times. But sometimes fail, sometimes don't. So,
Yeah.
Any other questions?
No, just in general, just like growing alongside the business and my work ethics. It's just been an experience. I think.
Have you ever felt like that you have like sacrificed certain personal things for the business?
No, not necessarily. To me, I don't think I've always seen it as a sacrifice. It's always seen as like something that needs to be done. I guess if we're really using sacrifice, like just time, you know, like time away from weekends and friends. But at the same time, I had, you know, my soccer things going on, my weekend things. So it wouldn't, I don't know. I don't know what life would have been if I didn't have this, you know. Like, that's just like, this is all.
Did you give anything up to have it? Is my question, maybe.
No.
Yeah, I would.
No.
Yeah, and I think that was like the hardest part for my husband and I, is to try to balance the kids' wants and needs with the business. And him and I gave up certain things so they wouldn't give up certain things. Because as a child, because I am a child of entrepreneurs that went to the swap meet, my brother and I really gave up our weekends. Like, we did not have parties, we didn't go out, we weren't able to just have a Saturday and lounge, because our parents really needed us to propel the business forward. So I think that's something that really stuck behind my back, in my mind, back of my mind, is, okay, the kids should not sacrifice. And not that I hold my parents against, that was just our reality.
And I don't think you did. Like, I think, if anything, me and Noah actually wanted to go to the farmers markets. Like, I remember the one was freaking far. It felt like it was at Timbuktu. But it was at that hospital one, that one farmers market. It was at the Kaiser Permanente. And I remember that one. We had to wake up at the crack of dawn, but I wanted to go to that one. It was like a 2-day event. I don't know if you remember.
I don't know.
Maybe.
We did so many.
We did so many, but I remember like that one, like, and the Long Beach ones. Like, I wanted to do these like events with you, and the same thing with Noah. Noah, he wanted to go because they had the bouncy houses. He enjoyed it.
Yeah.
You know, like he always had fun at the markets, and there was even at one point where he was helping another booth sell their toys. And
he would get paid.
And you'd get paid. You'd get a free toy at the end of the market, and he loved it. He was like, "Mom, can I go to their booth?" We're like, "Okay, kid, like, do it."
Yeah.
You know? So I don't think at any point did we feel like we were sacrificing anything. Like, we wanted to go and be involved in Olivia's heritage too.
All right. So let me ask you another question. How has Olivia helped you in preparing for the real life? Like what has it helped you, if any? And if it has helped you, what has been?
I think the one of the things that I can take away from and like has seriously taught me is communication, enunciation, and also just the way I would say my public speaking is very much, I would say, comes and learned a lot from Olivia's, as well as taking criticism. And that might sound a little harsh right now, but what I mean is working alongside my mom, I've always been held to a higher expectation, which is expected. It's not something I find a burden, but it is something that is true, that I am held to higher expectations. And so going into another workforce, like when I worked at Nordstrom as an example, it was very easy. It was an easy breezy job. I was like, oh my God, this is so nice.
They're so nice to me here.
I was like, nobody talks back. If I say no, it's okay. It was like, I'm like, like working with your mom, like, does have its perks, like, I talk to her every day. We laugh, we crack jokes. She gets me, without just staring at each other. We get each other, right? But there is that balance where we were talking about earlier, where the lines get blurred. We're walking on a tightrope, between, boss and mom, right? So yeah, there's been times where like it's gotten hard for us, like she said, our tiffies, our little arguments. And so that has really prepared me to be like, okay, try not to get emotional, don't let, this is all business. This is not, has anything to do with your relationship with her. Like, it's all work. And that's something I think you've taught me is like, dude, this is just work, dude. Business, life, like that's it. And so I don't know. I think that's something I've learned,
Yeah. No, and I think I've always been afraid of raising nepo babies or nepotism, just because I think we need to not necessarily work, but I want people or our staff to be able to be like, hey, she deserves to be here, not only because she's my kid, too, and also to prepare my children for, if not here, success outside of here. But, entrepreneurship is hard. If anybody knows me, they know that I'm a rap and Jay-Z fan. And Jay-Z has a line in one of his songs where it says, men are separated by the invoices, meaning that everybody wants to be a business owner, but when it comes time to paying the invoices, that's when everybody falls apart. So with my children, I wanted to make sure that when the invoice came, they knew how to pay them and knew how to work to be able to pay these invoices, to be able to erect a business from whatever they want, But I think that was one of the lessons I've wanted to always instill in all my children. All three of them, some take it better than others, and business is not for everybody.
Yeah.
Business is not for anybody.
Yeah. And there's been times where I've been, because right now I'm in school. And sometimes in my classes, there have been, professors asking, like, do you own a business? Do you know someone, right? And, one of the things is, entrepreneur. I tell everybody, entrepreneurship is hard. It may seem glamorous, owning your business and having that title. But, we're always wearing these different hats, We're a one-man show from, even, as we started growing, we're starting to now lose some of those hats, because we're hiring and we're finally at the point where we can have, help and actually have people where this is their profession and actually contribute. Because the one thing about us is that we love ideas, we love when you're like, no, dude, you're doing it wrong. Like, you should do it this way. We're like, great, tell us, because we're not going to get anywhere if we keep doing it wrong. So I think that's one big thing about the business is that, we follow, that kind of motto. We're all about continuously to learn and
Yeah. Now, let me ask you, what have you learned about leadership and watching your parents be in leadership?
That is not easy.
More about style of leadership or because I can tell you from Tom, I'm pretty sure she's learned organization, plan, systems, because Tom's really big on system and organizations. I think
I 100%, like, my dad worked from home a lot, so I saw, and he always talked to me about his work. So yes, 100%, I think dad has the strength of the organization here.
Oh, shut up.
I think he's on the stronger side. So yeah, but I think from you, what I really learned was being, true to myself, standing on what I believe in, and if I say I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. That's something you definitely have taught me in my life, is that there's nothing stopping me but me.
Yeah.
And you've always told me, like, dude, you can get anything you want as long as you put your mind to. And it's true. It goes all the way down to my grades, for an example. Like, she used to be a hard, but on my
she was a really bad student. And if any teachers were out there, can back me up, leave the comments. Let people know she wasn't like this all the time. It took us a while.
Yeah, so... Yeah. So once I finally clicked and actually put my mind to get better grades, I actually got better grades. What a
concept!
What a concept, right?
Did work.
Yeah, stuff like that. I think you taught me, and like leadership, and like seeing you in those leadership roles, like just being who you are, being true to yourself, and also having that personality where you allow people to come in and like, hey, you're doing it wrong. Like, even people, my mom has no problem with people correcting her.
No.
If you're there like, hey, you're doing it wrong, she'll be like, okay. And like seeing that as from a leader it takes a lot. I don't think all leaders can actually be okay with someone saying, no, you're doing it wrong, because as a leader, some leaders don't want to be called out like that. So yeah, so I think it's very nice to see someone.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to take this one because she doesn't compliment me a lot. So I'm going to take this one. All right. So for those that don't know and haven't met us personally, Giselle and I are both dyslexic and both have a learning disability. And I think we are people that love to work with our hands due to this learning disability. So how did being dyslexic help you, and how did it hinder you in this kind of setting and setting of entrepreneurship, and I think dyslexic or learning disability, which I hate the word, but that's what it's called, gets such a bad rap for us. And I have this theory that all good salespeople have some type of learning disability, but most and all entrepreneurs have some type of learning different than the normal standards, and hence the reason we go into entrepreneurship. But that's a whole other episode. But
if you want to change the word, we can use neurodivergence.
Oh, okay. Neurodivergency. What do we know? So how did your neurodivergency get impacted by all this? And how did it help or hinder?
I think for me, having dyslexia and a learning processing disorder. I more think outside the box. I don't really think like most people, I feel like, because I've been told multiple times by multiple friends, they're like, dude, how did you figure that out? I'm like, they're like, I would never have thought that. I was like, well, I did. Like, that's just how my brain works, where I'd be like, things that people don't usually think of, I do. And I think that's like one, I call it my superpower. I really do call it, and that's like one way that I've like learned to love my dyslexia, because it's going to be with me forever. And if I hate it, I'm just going to have a hell life, honestly. And so, I think my creativity is a big part of dyslexia. I even give Marimago to my dyslexia, where I was just staring into the box until I popped into my brain, right? Just trying to problem solve. Okay, how can we use this? How can we use this? What can we do, right? But at the same time, there is a lot of self-doubt, with dyslexia and a processing disorder. So, and things that I know, even as something as small as spelling something, right? Like having that doubt about, did I spell it right? And then you're like, oh no, I didn't. Like I spelled it right. Like I didn't spell it wrong. You're like, even all the way down to that, like that self-doubt can really affect everything into like a bigger light, from, did I make the right decision? Even into an email, I'm trying to sound professional. I'm like, did I spell right? And is the sentence right? Is the punctuation right? Like, even to that, like, I have doubts, you know.
Everybody.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I think, but at the same time, I'm young. I'm hoping to grow, and you know, hopefully that self-doubt can go away once, you know, I'm older and
Oh,
I
I
step
think
into
self-doubt is part of
well,
life.
no, you tell me, like, as a leader.
Oh, I mean, it's part of life every day. I think at all ages, right? But I just think accepting our circumstances comes with loving ourselves, and like Giselle says, a superpower, right? I do know my brain is not like everybody else's brain. I do know that I think very differently, but I embrace it instead of hiding it, and I got no shame.
Neither do I.
I would like ask Zuri, like, Zuri, how do you spell this? And she'll dictate it to me, and I no longer, you know, have shame about it, because, you know, I also know that I'm 5% of the population, that when I say something, I'm going to do it. And I do it, right? Like they say, you know, 95% of the population will have an exact roadmap on how to become rich, but the lack of execution is what stops us from doing things, right? 5% of the population will take that roadmap and do it. So I also know I'm out of the box. Like I do it, right? And the confidence, I think the one thing I love about entrepreneurship, and that I thank my parents for, is that it gives you a self-confidence that it takes a while to build out of the entrepreneurship stratosphere. Like, my parents raised us selling, going to the swap meet, which I personally love and have no shame with. Other members of my family do, but I loved it. I loved going out there. I loved the hunt for the bargain, the hunt for the sale. And when you are young and you're, you know, 9 years old and your mom is expecting you to close the sale, you know, at first it's hard, but then you realize, hey, I'm doing something that most adults can't do, and I do it well. So it became its own university of confidence and dealing with doubt, because everybody has doubt. It's how we deal with it, right? And for me, I choose to be like, okay, you can enter my brain for like a pea second, then I'm going to smash you and prove to you that I can do it. And that's how I think that's what entrepreneurship at a young age does. Yeah. What would you say?
Well, right now I'm still in it. I'm still at a young age, so I will say there is a lot of self-doubt, you know, and especially like,
really?
I'm like, yeah,
even,
you know, like,
really? Okay.
yeah, because, you know, like, I am confident. I have a lot of ideas for the business in the future for Olivia's, right? But it takes time and getting there, and, you know, failures, and, you know I'm going to have to get up, and, you know I'm going to have trials and tribulations, right? So, you know, and I'm not there yet. I'm barely about to graduate. I'm barely about to step into this world. Like, I'm not saying I'm not. I'm currently like 1 foot in the door, right? But once I graduate, I'm going to be more than just in the doorway, right? I'm going to be living it and breathing it. And I'm not saying that in a bad way at all. This is something I want, you know. This is something I've had a plan since, you know, middle school. When, like I said, when she went full in and all in, my plan and my roadmap and my life plan just started clicking, and I was like, oh yeah, this is it. I'm gonna take it. I've always said, Mom's gonna take it nationally. I'll take it international. So that was always the plan.
Yeah. I guess, you know, raising her in this business can create also some self-doubts, because she's seen us also fail a couple of times, a couple ideas that we've tried to implement that didn't go well. So I can see how failure can
and also, like, we've made mistakes, and I've been there very much front row with the popcorn because I was a child at the time, so there really wasn't much I could input. But now that I'm in college, and now that I've studied, and I'm becoming an adult and a young woman, you know, I'm able to start, you know, putting some input. Like, not saying she didn't let us put input when we were kids, but that was more of the creative side that she let me and my little brother be involved. But as me and my brother have gotten older, we have family meetings where we sit in the living room and we talk business, and Noah is there to witness. Now, does Noah input? No, because he's a child sometimes.
No, he does. He does.
But he doesn't, you know, like, when it comes to the serious talks, now I'm starting to get involved in that. So all those, like, leading up to that, right? Yeah. And so just, you know, getting ready to take the reins soon. It's exciting.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Because I am going to retire, ladies and gentlemen. No, just kidding. I want to, but no, I'm not. We have big plans and we have different things coming, and it's gonna happen. But like, I think right now it's just dawning on me that Giselle has seen failure and has felt it, because like at 23, at your age, 22, 23, I was so I didn't know crap. And if you would ask me, can you do this? I'd be like, yeah. Can you figure this out? Everything was a yes.
I think
the fact that you're a little bit more humble and conscious of that there's failure, that says a lot. Like that, to me, that's a sign of maturity.
And also, I think, like, because, again, I've been raised in this business. Like, this is just as much as my baby as your baby, and both of us, Olivia's and I, being both your babies, right? Mm-hmm. Because we were both growing at the same time. And so, yeah, I have seen failures front and center, from, construction mistakes to setbacks to delays to complete chaos,
well, the
right?
best advice I ever have gotten from my nephew is don't be afraid to drown the baby. Meaning that there's been times where we had to scratch certain plans and
start
really
fresh.
And really emotional ones, right? Like I remember when we closed Downey,
Mm-hmm.
like when Downey was our second brick and mortar
And first spa.
And it was the first spa, and it was going really good until the pandemic. And we tried really, really, really hard to just keep it alive. And when it came time for me to shut it down and close it, oh my God, I felt like I
felt it too. I was so sad.
Yeah, I was just like, oh my God. I was like, but I remember, in order to grow, I had to drown that baby.
Yeah.
I had to let it go. I had to regroup. And so one of the best advices I've gotten as an entrepreneur was that don't be afraid to drown the baby. Sometimes giving up a dream inside the business or a goal, is part of business and entrepreneurship. Of like, not everything is going to go our way at all times. Also,
just not just that, but like I also think like I'm a good mix of you and Dad. Like you're all about diving in head first, dive into the deep end. We'll learn how to swim. We'll figure it out, but it's going to be a great opportunity and we're going to do it. And Dad's like, let's do a plan. Let's do this. Let's do A, B, C. Let's have all this. And I'm all for it. I love that stuff too, right? But I'm also all for like, we need to do it. We need to take it. We need to jump into it. And I think I can be sometimes a fair balance, and sometimes there are times where I'm a little bit more like my dad, and a little bit like more like my mom.
No,
right?
She's more like her dad.
Oh, stop it! When you call me, you're like, I think I have this idea, and I'm like, do it, Mom. Don't tell me. I tell you this.
But what I'm saying, you're more like your dad, meaning you won't do it. You'll tell me to do it. You won't do it. You're like Dad. You're like, no, you do it. You go for it. You won't do it, and that's.
I will.
Well, we'll see.
I have. I've done it all the time in my life. Anyways, period, the end, ignore.
But that's just, but I think entrepreneurship is that. It's taking the risk.
Again,
I've learned to mitigate the risk through your dad. I've learned that. I will agree to that.
Exactly.
And then, but I'm a doer. I've always said I'm a doer.
I said I was going to go to abroad, and I did. I am a doer, girl. I just got a plan. That's it.
Yeah.
Still am a doer.
I get anxiety. I have to do it
if I say
now.
I'm going to shave my head, I'm going to shave my head.
No, but I'm the kind of person, if I have an idea, I'm like, I got to do this now. Like, I got to figure it out. And we got to do it now.
I have that itch where I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait. It needs to happen. But like, I still need a plan.
She can tame it.
I can tame it. Yeah. She's like, she'll jump in and she's like, oh, that was fire. She's like, oh, that was lava. The floor is lava. Like, ooh, that was hot. Like, oops, I maybe should have waited until it cooled down.
But you learn. That's how you learn. But
you also get
just
burns.
My style. That's my style. And that's what I love. And I think that's what I love about entrepreneurship, that I've been able to just get my crazy ideas and try them. And at times they've been crazy.
Oh, yeah.
And at times they've been. All right. So
what was our craziest idea that you tried?
I don't know.
One of Olivia's.
There's been so many and so many embarrassing ones. So we don't need to go down that road. What the heck are you talking about? So let's talk about your crazy ideas. So, just kidding. All right. So tell me about the legacy of coming from a family of nothing but women entrepreneurs. Oof. What is that legacy like?
Something that I'm proud of. I'm so happy to say I'm like third generation.
Fifth.
Girl, what?
Yeah, Grandma Olivia, Grandma Thelma.
Grandma Thelma?
Yeah, Grandma Thelma. Grandma's mom. Grandma Olivia's is grandma's grandma.
That's right.
And Thelma, grandma, your mom. And then you're fifth generation entrepreneur woman. So what is that like, living up to that legacy?
Nothing. I'm just nothing but proud, and I can't wait to take it further and put all the hard work our family and our generations and legacy have put in, and finally get the recognition that.
Ooh, that's interesting. What do you mean finally get the recognition from who? Who are we looking for validation from?
I'm not looking for validation. It's more.
That's what recognition is.
Well, no, but what I mean is like. Latina women have put so much work, right? And so much work into society, and like we hold up our society, right? And we can even talk about how Salvadorian women were holding up the economy while men were fighting the war, right? Like that's if you can even do that idea in the U.S. when World War II, right? We can how women have hold up society and hold up the economy, and so Olivia's is so beautiful and what it stands for, just empowering women and women of color. And so for me, it's more of that. It's not the recognition of our family.
Oh, okay.
It's more of just like recognizing us women are here and we have this space, like that's really what I want to do with Olivia's. It's more of, and also like Grandma Thelma and Grandma Olivia put some hard work into getting where our family is, right? And it's more for them. It's not for me. I'm not looking for validation from people. It's more of like, look at the hard work that my family has put, into me, into us.
Let me apologize. I don't mean to call. It wasn't a call out. I think it was interesting to me to hear the word recognition, right? So because. It's easy for me to say almost at 50, I no longer need it. At your age, I've needed it. So I get it. At 50, I can give a rat's ass. People know that. Like I do it for me. I really don't care what people think. The other second best advice, or one of the beautiful advice I got one time was somebody said, who are you most afraid of disappointing? And I said, my children. And he said, wrong. He goes, the only person you should ever be afraid of disappointing is yourself. Because when you disappoint yourself, you disappoint everybody else, right? So when I put myself in that light where I'm like, okay, I'm the only one that matters, and the standards that I have for myself are the only ones that matter, it changed the game for me. I can care less what people think. I used to do things for my mother, for my father, for my children, and it was always warped, or it wasn't enough, or it wasn't. It was always more and more and more. And then when I put myself as front and center and did myself, and it wasn't in a selfish way. I think it was more of, it's okay for me to think about myself. I've been asked, do I feel guilty for working as much as hard as I have? Nah, I don't. I did. I don't anymore. Like, the proof is in the pudding. I got great kids. I got a great husband, and I've involved my children into this, and this has been sometimes our quality of time. Yeah, maybe has it sucked for them? Absolutely, because they've been stuck at the spa or at a farmer's market. But my kids were always with me, and they saw their dad and I evolve into these business people. So I love that for them and for us, because we also had the time. So no, I no longer feel guilty. I'm actually really proud that I was able to raise you guys in this type of environment. This is kind of the intimate story of Olivia's heritage. This is a heart of our brand, And Giselle did touch on something about women in entrepreneurship. So let me let you know, statistically, in the U.S., did you know Latina women are the largest growing sector of entrepreneurship?
I believe it.
Yeah. So we as Latina are one of the fastest and most, we're the fastest growing sector of the population that are starting businesses. Super proud of being in that category. Super proud of just being a woman entrepreneurship, not even just a Latina, just the fact that there's so many things that are stacked against us at all times. And I think to defy those odds just makes me proud. What about you?
Oh, 100%. I have everything you just said is beautiful, and I agree with you. And being the next generation coming up, stepping into the world of entrepreneurship, I'm excited. I'm very excited. And one of my mottos, my self-motto, something I've been repeating since like maybe junior year of high school is, I plan on flooding the gates with the people they don't like. That's always been my motto. I've always wanted to create change and create a space where we highlight women and focus on women and matriarchy, because women leading is beautiful. That's all I gotta say.
I agree with that.
So, as Olivia's grows, and as I hope for the future, people will start having everybody will have Olivia's in their bathroom, right?
That's right.
So,
Will be a household name.
Yeah, exactly. When Olivia's becomes a household name, because that's the goal. I want everybody, when they look at it, to just feel empowered and in have this space of just beauty and being yourself, because that's what I want Olivia to stand for, right? Authenticity and love and just confidence and just loving yourself, and having that space for women from all backgrounds,
Okay, I have a personal question.
Oh.
And I don't think I've ever asked you
I'm
this.
scared. I'm scared.
So, because we don't talk about, do you want children?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you do?
I do
okay.
want children.
And if you were to have a daughter, would you raise her in the business?
Absolutely.
Oh.
Absolutely.
No hesitation.
I would. What it's done for me, for my confidence, from speaking to my public speaking to just how I present myself and hold myself, it's done a lot for me. It's done a lot, and a lot of great things for me. It hasn't damaged or hindered me at all.
Did you guys hear that? Because when I get a therapy bill saying that I damaged her, I'm gonna
okay, hold on. We're talking about business. We ain't talking about the way you respond.
I'm gonna rewind.
No. That's just business. I'm talking business. I'm talking business. I ain't talking about my parents and stuff.
I'm just kidding. No.
But no, I wouldn't. If I had a daughter, I'd raise her exactly the way I was. I'm like, go to the lab, go do the dirty laundry. You're gonna do the scut. Like I still, to this day, even though I do the social media, I clean the rooms. I still clean the rooms. I still throw out the trash. I still, am changing sheets and touching.
But nobody's above anybody here.
And then
not the founders, not the estheticians. And the one thing that my kids know is that they have to be able to do every position at all times.
And doing the scut work, I think, like my younger brother right now, he's the laundry man.
He's a laundry engineer. Thank you very much.
Let me rephrase exactly. He's just his job is to come in every day, wash the laundry, fold it, and it's something as simple as just doing the laundry that teaches something and ingrains something into my little brother. Now what? I don't know. You're gonna have to ask him. But I'm not him.
No,
but
responsibility.
Exactly, responsibility, right? Taking that and how he's supposed to be responsible. So like all that aspect from what I did, from the sales, you giving me, if you do this. I remember when you started giving me commission. You're like, okay, I'm going to start introducing commission to you. If you do this, if we sell this much, you get paid this. And that was my, incentive to do more at the farmer's market. So all that stuff, if I were to have another girl, If she doesn't want to do business, that's absolutely up to her. But if she did, I'd start her off at the bottom of the food chain. And she would have to work her way up just the way I did. I didn't start in administration. I started, as the runner, as go get cash, go do that, go find change, go do this, bring the car around, put that, load that, do that. I've done that. And I'm here. Now I can say I've earned, being in the administration role. So, because I'm 1 foot in the door.
1 foot in.
So,
well, we're training her for that. We're training her for bigger things. All right. So now, explain to the audience, what exactly do you do? What exactly do we pay you for, G? Because I'm still trying to figure it out. Just kidding. No, honestly, give them your role. What do you do? How do you do it? And how did you get there?
Well, I will say, so right now the role I am is marketing manager. I work very closely with our camera guy, Daniel, currently behind the cameras right now. We work hand in hand on creating content. I create the content calendar, campaigns, photo shoot ideas, scheduling all that, and even connecting with influencers on all that aspect. What else? I help Nancy with her parts and her other projects. So not only am I doing management for marketing, I work alongside with Nancy and my mom. So whichever project she needs help with, which is whether it's coding, paid ads, or building something, anything that she needs to hand off. Because, again, we're wearing all the hats. So
no, we're not wearing all the hats. We are wearing less hats.
Again, I said we're finally wearing
Giselle
less
says
hats.
We have Daniel behind the camera. He edits.
But we're still wearing a little bit, still some of the hats, not all of them now.
Yeah.
But we still have some hats, so we pass the hats to each other. You're like, go do this, including sometimes Daniel will get a hat.
More than editing.
Yeah, but as the team has grown, the hats have been disappearing and staying to one person.
We're trying to. We're trying to grow.
So that's what I do. That is my job. So when you see me, I say marketing manager.
How'd you earn it?
Well, I actually took a hiatus from Olivia's Heritage when I went to college.
Yes.
So when I first started, let's back it up. Before, when I was in high school getting ready to go to college, I was in the business in the sense of making the product and salesperson. That's all. Mm-hmm. I was nothing administrative, and I was cleaning the spa rooms. I was doing all that stuff, all the runs. And then I went to college, getting ready to study business. And I was living in San Francisco, and the spa was here, Watsonville. So there really wasn't much I could, contribute to the business from living in San Francisco. So, I took about maybe a 4-year hiatus. I lived my life. I had fun. I worked at a different place. I traveled. And then I came back. And so all those life experience, other work experience from Nordstrom, as well as my classes. My classes has contributed to a lot on how I was able to get this manager position and marketing position, from taking what I've learned in classes and incorporating it into our business right now. I definitely would say that has definitely helped me getting here. And also age and maturement. Even though I am 22, I will say 18, 17-year-old me when I was going to college would never have been able to do what I've done so far with social media.
I agree. 100%.
That, when I first started, it's almost been a year since I've taken over the social media. And so I've grown it. I have, I've done my thing. I've done my thing. I've grown it a couple 2000.
Actually, a lot better than anybody we hired. We've been through it.
And that was probably one of the things we've learned was bringing everything in house. We've tried outsourcing, and eventually we learned, you know what? Maybe if we just had our own little department, even if the department is a party of 2, we're still getting it done. And
now party of 3. We got one more. Yeah. No, but you don't know what you don't know, right? Yeah. And then you realize, oh shoot, I do know. And I think one thing about our social media ventures is that we always outsourced it, and I feel like we were always taken advantage of, like every single time, and I always had high hopes, like yes,
this is it.
This is gonna be the changer, and then it not happening, right? Then people being like, then realizing, oh my God, these people don't know anything, and I know as much, or if not more, but yet they're learning on our dime. That's when we decided to bring it in-house, you know?
And if it's someone was going to learn on our dime, might as well be me.
Us.
Yeah, and us, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
and it was actually a little less expensive. People learning on our dime, it was a lot. And so now, I think it's the best decision we've ever made is bringing the marketing team in-house and learning paid ads and learning organic strategies and social media strategies.
And it wasn't easy at the beginning. I remember when we were discovering what kind of roles we needed to fill and what we truly needed, because we were brainstorming. Mind you, like, we commute all the time to LA, so we were in the middle of driving back from LA, and we're like, just like, what, we need to figure this out. We're like, something needs to change, and we're like, that's when we started brainstorming and what we wanted, and then we discovered what that role was and what that role compassed. And then I was listening to what I was like, I'm like, this is what you need this person to do, and they're like, yeah. I was like, don't hire them, hire me.
Yeah.
It literally said that. That's literally where I was like, I was in the car, you know, hearing us brainstorm, my dad and I and all, you know, and I was like, wait a minute, I think you can do this.
No, and then we started with Rogelio. Shout out to Rogelio wherever you're at. He was one of our first interns. Yeah. And he taught us a lot.
He did teach us a lot.
And then we hired Daniel. Shout out to Daniel. He's behind the camera. He was just, you know.
And Daniel, even in the short time he's been here, has taught us a lot as well.
And it has contributed a lot. And then we slowly made it our team, bought our equipment. I was so proud when Daniel was like, you actually have equipment. I was like, yes, we're official. We officially have a marketing team because we have equipment.
So yeah,
to me it was just like what
they brought. Whatever agency we were working with at the time, it's the equipment they brought, you know. So
no, they didn't bring it. We bought it. We always provide lighting for them. Anyways, that's good. So that was fun.
Let's not get into that.
Yeah, that was fun. But that's how she got the position. All right. So let me ask you another question. If you were, now that you've been in the business 10 years, you've seen it grown. What
making me feel old?
What would you do different if you can go back and you be the founder? What would you do different?
Social media.
Yeah.
From day one. Yeah. She hated social media. Like, mind you, like, when we were starting, the rise of social media also was on the run, right? And so this is when Instagram still had its brown and rainbow logo. If y'all remember OG Instagram, we were still on, had that. Yeah. Pinterest, like all that stuff.
But isn't that hilarious? Now I'm all over it.
Yeah, I know. It took her a very long time to be comfortable on the camera.
It took me 10 years.
Yes, quite literally. I had to yell at. When I became marketing manager, I told her, I'm like, you have no choice now. I told her, I'm like, you need to record, and now that I have Rogelio, you need to listen to him, and you need to do it as he says. And she's like, okay. And so
I realized there's no way of growing without it, so we had to do it, right? And so,
but also for both of us, we're kind of both the same. It took us.
Yeah, 10 years. 10 years to get onto social media, to get on it consistently in the right way.
Because, like, mind you, we were doing, like, definitely, like, the Facebook photos and, like, the
I don't know.
My Gen Zs knows exactly what I'm talking about when I say.
I don't know. Because I don't have personal social media. I've never posted. I never, I'm old, so, like, the yellow pages or, like, how would you word of mouth? Like, now it's like TikTok it. Instagram it, it's like I love social media to consume, but to post,
she does not.
I don't want to know what you ate last night. Like, I do not want to know. Like, I didn't get social media. Now, and this is funny because I get TikTok, because TikTok to me is a little bit more authentic, a little bit more real.
She would have loved Musical.ly.
I don't even know what that is. I have no idea what that is. But anyways, I think it was a little bit more authentic. It's a little bit more authentic authentic, it's not so curated, the best self. And I remember when Facebook first came out, it was the best version of everybody, right? And it's like, it's not, I knew back then that it wasn't real. So there was no appeal to me. So I think I posted 10 personal posts in all the life of Instagram or Facebook. Like I never had personal posts. And then these kids were like, oh, you need to be the one talking. I was like, what the heck? And then so there's a little bit of debate, because if anybody knows me, I'm pretty raw. I'm pretty like rough around the edges. And then I was like, you can't say that. I was like, yes. Don't ask me to be myself. I was like, when then our camera guy would be like, yeah, don't get so corporate, Nancy, your voice. I'm like, great. And then I'll say something outlandish, and they'll be like, okay, we need to cut that. I'm like, I don't get it. And like, you guys want me, but you guys don't want me.
Okay, you're making it seem like we're completely silencing your voice. We're not silencing your voice. Sometimes you have your crazy antics. So, no, like everything in life, there's some things you can say in closed doors and some things you can't. Like and I promise we're not saying anything bad. I promise.
I know. I was gonna say, like girl, no, we don't. I love to curse.
Yeah, he loves to curse.
I love to curse. I think that in Spanish and in English, like I think it's so like.
And we're ball busters. That's the thing. We like jokes, and we have dark humor.
A dark sense of humor.
So like sometimes, and that's what we mean. Like you can't say that. Like yes, we're laughing, all three of us, but we get it, and not everybody can react to dark humor.
Okay, let me ask you that. What is it like to be raised with a mom that is emotionally constipated? Because when you're an entrepreneur, you really have to compartmentalize. And at times that compartmentalization of my brain goes even into the emotional part of me, right? So except for perimenopause, okay, because I'm going to admit right now, I'm a little bit more emotional than usual. Can't wait till this phase in my life is over, because I want to kick that bitch's ass, perimenopause. But I am pretty emotionally constipated in the sense that it's hard for me to cry. It's hard for me to be like, oh my God, you're
like,
great.
Instead of crying, she will laugh. Like that's her trigger. And like, that's something that my family has just grown to know about her. Like we don't take it personal, but like my favorite memory of her being, like she says, emotionally compromised, is when it was summer. It was probably like 2010. And I was at my Nana's pool, and I was with my best friend. At the time, I still had the floaties. I didn't know how to swim, so I had like on floaties. And my best friend pushes me into the deep end. And again, I'm still freaking out. Even though I got floaties, I'm still freaking out that she pushes me in. But then I realized, I'm like, okay, now I'm freaking out that I'm in the deep end, but then I start feeling pain in my foot. But mind you, I'm freaking out. She's all laughing on the thing, but I have floaties, so she's not freaking out completely, but she can see I'm crying. I'm all emotional. My friend pushed me in, and then I get hurt. I like lose like half my toenail. Oh, and she's like, she's like, let me get you a Band-Aid. I'm like, dude. So yeah, but she's made me rough around the edges, tougher. No, I always tell her, I'm like, oh, thank you for being such a hard ass. I'm like, people are too sensitive these days. I don't know. That's just what I say is to her. I'm like,
okay, but what is it like? Like, it's
hilarious. I love it.
Okay, we got that on tape again. When she goes to therapy and tells me I was emotionally constipated, I am rolling this back. I'm like, she said that she loved it. Well, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm
just trying to I was like, I don't know,
Did you ever wish I was more emotional?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Really,
girl. We can get into this off camera,
okay.
But yeah.
Okay, all right, cool.
Yeah, for God's sakes, for my injury, and my doctor even said, "Damn, rough crowd," when I chopped off my finger, and I was like, she's hysterically crying. I've always been injured. I'm just a walking hazard. I trip on my own self all the time.
Well, we didn't know what to do. It's either laugh or cry with you, so we decided to laugh. So it was one or the other.
did most of the crying for all of us, anyways.
Oh yeah, she's a crybaby. And like
I'm just an empath. That's all I have.
Okay, so
I feel all emotions.
So for somebody that is emotionally constipated, I was blessed with the crybaby. Like
The universe said, like, here, let me teach you how to have emotions again.
Oh, and it's like, and my husband's favorite phrase is, "No, you can't beat her ass for that." I'm like, I can't. And she's like, "No, she's crying because she's hurt." I'm like, that's why. Why can't I just smack her so she can stop crying? And my husband be like, "No, you can't smack her because she's crying." I'm like, "You can't."
We have to go.
But it's true.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. Anyways.
No, I grew up with the mom who was like,
ADHD on Michael playing.
No llores.
Well, yeah, you used to tell me all the time, 2 tears in the bucket and fuck it.
That's right. That's
that was
my
one
motto.
of her mottos.
But
that was grandma.
But at least I gave her 2 tears. I never even got 2 tears, fool. Like I was like, don't cry. Not one. Yeah. I gave you 2, and then you had to move on. All right.
Well, that goes all the way into the just generational
trauma.
And trauma.
But who would we be without trauma? That's the question.
Like I like to say, it builds character.
It does. It does. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was a little bit of inside the brand, the heart of the brand. I hope you guys enjoyed it, but we didn't want to talk just business, give you an insight of what we're like and what it has taken to build what we have that we are very proud of. You know, it might not be a lot to a lot of people, but to us has been sweat. What is it? Hard work, sweat, and tears.
Blood, sweat, tears.
Blood, sweat, and tears.
I don't know, girl. We're dyslexic.
Yes, out. English is my second language, okay?
We're dyslexic. You get what we're trying to say.
Yeah, blood, sweat, and tears.
The blind leading the blind.
This is what it's taken to be where we're at, and just a little perspective of G growing up with, like she would say, a hard-ass mom.
Yeah. I still love it. I still love you, girl.
Don't worry. Got no choice.
Here we go again.
Just kidding. See the sensitivity. Jesus Christ.
Here's the thing: we don't get sarcasm. Our brain does not understand sarcasm.
Okay, it must be the dyslexia
and the processing disorder. All of it. Damn, girl, what'd you do? Just kidding.
Like, don't go there. Don't go there. But anyways, all right, guys. Thank you so much for watching us. If you have any questions about entrepreneurship, dyslexia, how to deal with that, how to figure it out. I'm not going to say we're experts, but we are very proud to let people know how our brains work. And then I believe that everybody that has some type of neurodivergent, is that what you called it?
Yes, clearly, because look at me.
Yeah. Yeah, stop it. Neurodivergency. Let us know. We're here to embrace it with you. Those are my closing words, G.
Damn, I lost my closing thoughts.
Oh my gosh. Story of our lives.
Quite literally.
All right, come on.
All right, y'all. Thanks.
All right. Thank you all.